Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to be putting the final touches on our project. Yesterday we did all of our shapes. What are these called again? Organic shapes. We did all of our organic shapes. We chose a color group of 3. I ended up going with cool colors. I did colored pencils. So right now this is technically a mixed media piece because we've got marker. I used pencil in here as well and colored pencil, so we got 3 things going on. I'm gonna go ahead and add a 4th thing into this today, and I've got some markers, okay? I'm using my exact same color palette. So I used purple, blue, and green. So I'm doing the exact same thing with my markers. So I use purple, blue, and green colored pencils, purple, blue, and green markers. You guys can change this up if you want to use a different medium. You're welcome to do that. Medium means what you are marking with or what you are making with. Okay, so make sure that if you want to stick with colored pencils, because that's what you got, great. If you do some crayons, you can do crayons. Crayons might actually work really well for what we're about to do. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the last step of our project. Today, on top of your markers or whatever material you're going to be using, you're also going to need a pair of scissors and a sheet of paper to do this. So in the past, we've actually used, bubble wrap to do this last section, but unfortunately we're not going to be able to do that because usually we paint and we print with the bubble wrap. So we're going to be doing kind of a different type of concept. What you're going to want is you're going to want to take a sheet of paper, cut a triangle out of it, so that way your paper looks like this, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my paper and my scissors, okay? I'm gonna just cut directly from the bottom up my page, about there, okay? I'm gonna cut over there, and then I'm going to cut at an angle like this, and this is going to give us basically that same shape that we would be doing with the bubble wrap. Okay, let's take that triangle out. Boom. And then you can clean that up if you need to. I'm going to clean mine up. All right, so I got my triangle shape. Remember, whenever we're adding this next part in, we do not want to go onto the face, right? So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna find a different section. I've got my green, blue, and purple markers. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to find different sections that don't have, so if I'm doing the blue and green section, I'm gonna get my purple marker and I'm gonna do this part of the project. I'm gonna start up here because that's at the top so you guys can see that easiest. And I'm going to line up my page at the top. Maybe, remember, don't go onto the eyes. I'm gonna go like right here. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hold this page so it doesn't move. Maybe like right here. And I'm gonna take this marker and I'm gonna fill it with dots. All right, I wanna make this as even and consistent as possible. Okay, so I'm just going in and I'm making dots. So the reason I'm doing this is Roy Lichtensteins was very influenced by comic books and advertisements that were in newspapers. And in newspapers and comics back in the day, instead of filling in their color with full filled color, they would actually use this dot pattern. And while I'm working on this, I'll throw this image of the dot pattern up on the screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. If you look in the background at that blue section, you can see the dots that I'm talking about in the comic. And they didn't do this for a stylistic reason. They didn't do it because they thought it would look cool. They did it because it saved them money on ink. And so it turned out to be a really interesting looking technique. And artists like Roy Lichtenstein really liked that. If you remember back whenever we did the shading techniques, I showed you one that was called stippling. And stippling is kind of like a modified version of what we're doing now, except closer together to show shade instead of to do this to add, this is kind of adding a texture to it. It's adding that Roy Lichtenstein flair. So the screen that Roy Lichtenstein is standing behind is that dot matrix that we're adding into our project right now. Okay, so I've only got a little bit more to go. And I'm just going right on top of my image that I did before. So I'm trying to go in between these little spaces, making the square or diamond pattern. I'm just using the tip of my marker, pressing it down, and then lifting up. And I'm trying to make sure not to touch it because I tested it out on another page before I did this, and the marker did smudge. So I want to make sure I don't smudge my marker. Almost done. Okay, so then I'm gonna lift this up and I've got my dotted section. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna find another section. So that was the purple and blue section. Over here in this, and I'm gonna do one of these per color that I have. So I've already gotten my green done, so I'm done with green. I'm gonna put that marker to the side. So now I need to do a blue section of this color and a purple section of this color. And I'm gonna do a time lapse of that real fast, and then I'll come right back to you guys. All right, so that is how you do all of your dot patterns. It's called a dot matrix. All right, so I use the same sheet for every single one of those. If you wanted to do different shapes, you are more than welcome to do that. I just prefer to have something that's like a inorganic triangular shape, or you could even do like a square rectangular shape to kind of offset this organic shape right here. But that's really up to you guys. Remember, use the exact same colors. I know it's hard to tell, but I've got my green, my purple, and my blue over here. That way I'm not doing purple on top of purple, or I'm not doing blue on top of blue. Okay, so we got purple on blue, we got blue on purple, we got green on both. Oh, see how they smudged a little bit? Make sure that you guys don't smudge yours whenever you're working on it, okay? All right, and that's it. That's all we got for you this week. Make sure that you let these dry on top of your colored pencil before you do it, before you close your sketchbook or anything like that. And once yours looks like this, you are done. All right, can't wait to see what you guys turn in this week. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.